All right. So with me here is Ciku. Wapi makofi ya Ciku? So the thread of today is occupy your sphere of influence. Na sasa Ciku anaoccupy sphere of influence yake. Nashukuru sana for making time to come here.
Thank you.
Making time. I'm being part of this creation of this event. Yeah, so thank you for your time. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being, for working this thing together. It's a whole team effort. Isi Ogesh peke yake. Nyakeru, Shiko all played a big role to this thing happening. So just to say that it's possible for you to do something and change lives, and change narratives, change, highlight deceptions. As you said in Ephesians 5:11, ukiwa tu umenyamaza na vitu mbaya zinaendelea, you need to do something about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, nimeshasema jina yako, sasa sijui utajiintroduce aje, but introduce yourself. Ebu ambie kwanza ile rule moja.
Which one? I know the rule he's talking about. I'll mention it towards the end of this conversation. So my name is Ciku. I am single. Yes, I am single. I am I'm a woman who's passionate about singlehood. And in fact, mine is not singles, it's actually singlewhole. Yeah, because I want to redefine that singlehood space, which I'm extremely passionate about. Nyakeru, who was here before, she talked about how, for her, when she's talking about food, she's been there, done that. And when she was giving us the example of taking apple cider vinegar, which is something she did. Now, for me, the singlehood space, been there, done that, doing that. So that's why I'm passionate about it. So that is in brief who Ciku is. Yeah.
Wonderful. Hey, Ciku. Well, single. What?
Single.
Oh. Oh my, you're mini bamba. Anyway, you're the creative. Lazima niseme. Pali credit iko unapeana.
Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway. I understand I'm speaking a lot of Kiswahili. For my international audience, I can speak fluent English. Disclaimer. I'm just occupying my language. Anyway. So, there's a common thread of deception, as we said earlier. What is the common thread of deception you see in this particular sphere? What is the common?
Okay. Larry, good question. And how I want to answer that question, I want us to do a little exercise, yeah? So if you have a pen and paper, no. Okay, please take your phone, all right? And then I want you to think about, you can go either to your text messages or notebook, wherever it is, it's called notepad or something, or your text messages section. And I want you to think, just 5 things. I want you to think about relationships you've been in or relationships you are in. Relationship. So the relationship does not need to be a dating relationship. That's why we are here. So it doesn't need to be a dating relationship. Okay. Think about a relationship with a sibling, a relationship with your parent, a relationship with your colleague, yeah? And think about what are the things you have desired or you've yearned for in that relationship. Now, if I say yearn for, it sounds like this. Now you want us to get into this space of Sidui. Think about if it's a colleague, what pisses you off about this colleague? If it's a parent, if it's a sibling, what's the thing that they do that just pisses you off? And those things that piss you off in that relationship will give you hints on what you yearn for in that relationship. Okay? So I just want you to write 5 of them. So for example, in my relationships, I get really angry when I'm not given attention. Yeah? I get really angry when I'm not given attention. So for me, that shows me I yearn for acceptance. I want to feel accepted. I want to feel someone chose me over the job, over the hustle, over whatever. Yeah? So I just want you to write 5 things only, yeah, that you have yearned for in these relationships. So I'll give us what, Larry? 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
All right. Who is counting?
Some of them are typing. To go the next generation, so type, write.
Actually, all are writing,
What
typing.
works for you?
And don't copy your neighbors. Be original, Bana. Be original. Larry, Zako. Aya, 1 minute. Hakuna group discussion. Oh. Aya. If you've written 7, it's okay. You can continue. So 1 more minute. What are those things you've yearned for in those relationships? Aya, so if you're done, let me hear done.
Done.
Aya, MC is done. Are we done?
I'm not done, but I'm Larry.
Aya, okay. How many of us have written at least one thing? At least one thing you've written, right? Okay. None. So whoever hasn't written anything, it means you're good with your relationships. You've not had any struggles. Okay. So let's continue, yeah? So for those of us who've written at least one thing, I'd like you to just be, bold enough and mention what's the one thing you've written. At least just one thing, just shout. Time consciousness. Okay. Love. Consistency. I've had respect. Someone else, yeah? Communication. Belonging. Yeah. Trust. Thank you. To be seen. I'm seeing a hand raised there. You. Sorry? Gratitude. Okay. So I've had gratitude, I've had love, I've had respect. Okay? We can continue. Anyone else who wants to say another word? Understood. Okay. So I've had gratitude, respect, consistency, communication, love. Yeah. So I've had belonging. I've had those words. Now, question. How many of us here are married?
Hey!
Okay. Two of us are married, right? Two of us are married. So I've seen a hand there and a hand there, okay? So those things that have been mentioned, have you struggled with them? If we are to be honest, and I'm sure the spouse is not here, and Larry, you'll cut this out, eh? So have you struggled with those things that have been mentioned in your marriage? Love, respect, time consciousness, gratitude, belonging. Have you struggled with any of those?
Somebody were talking.
Right? Yes, you struggled with them, yeah? Have you struggled with them? Right? Okay. So how many of us here have been married before? Yes? Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, guys. How many of us here? Yeah, just raise your hand, Isaac. Anyway, so how many of us here have been married before? Awesome. So I've seen 2 hands raised. Anyone else? Oh, 3, 4 hands raised. Awesome. So in those marriages, and guys, we listen, we don't judge, right? We listen, we don't judge. Yeah. By the way, one of the things that is key for me is that we create a safe space. And that's what I want us to create in these conversations, okay? Yeah? Agreed? Yeah. We are all on the same page? Yeah? Okay. So, for those of us who are here, the 4 that have been married before, did you struggle with those things that have been mentioned in your marriages? The gratitude, the, belonging, the being understood, the love, the respect. Did you struggle with those things? At least some, not all, but some of the things that have been mentioned, if you're honest. Right? Yeah? Ciku, maybe you want to share.
I'm trying to share. Okay, so. Okay, over and above the ones that we mentioned. First of all, let me say, I know you said we don't copy from each other. What did you say? That you need to copy from your neighbor. Yeah. I don't even have a neighbor. I only had to look at those things. Then I copied up from them. So anyway, on my list is assurance. You said 5 things, yeah? So I have assurance, security, meeting of the mind, respect, and then godliness. But to be honest, it all really boiled down to the one thing, the meeting of the minds. Because if you tend not to see anything from the same page or from an agreeing point of view, if you're not coming from the same direction, what happens is that eventually you will end up fighting about a lot of things and having all sorts of arguments about all sorts of things. So then it occurred to me, my last one was godliness. If you have God as the beginning of everything, yeah, then it means you have a basis, yeah, where your union is concerned. You'll tend to be drawn to each other more, but from a godly point of view, there will be more agreeing and accepting each other and respect and wisdom and all those nice things that they have to come from one place. They have to come from God. That's the way I look at it now. I wish I knew better. But that's the way I look at it. That's my point of view.
So thank you so much for sharing, Ciku, yeah? And that's one of the things I'll get into, Larry, about God. And for me, what I hear there is the foundation. So your question was, what is the deception? What is the lie, yeah? And the reason I was asking all those questions, the deception and the lie when it comes to this sphere of influence, which is family. And for me, I specifically narrowed down into singlehood, yeah, which is part of the family concept, yeah? The deception is that marriage will provide all these things. That's a deception. That marriage will provide security. That marriage will provide assurance. That marriage will provide love. That marriage will provide respect. That is a lie. Yes, I said it, yeah? Because if you do not have these things within yourself, by the way, there's this speaker who said 1 is a complete number. Okay? Yeah. Fractions, they start from a half and downwards. Number 1 is a complete number. Yeah? Stories for Ati, my better half, please. The married peeps in the room, yeah, you can use babe and whatever, but my better half, are you not complete as 1? Like 1 is a complete number, yeah? So the deception in this singlehood space is that marriage will come in and give you all these things, which is not true. If you do not have these things as the one singular unit that you are, you will not get these things in that marriage that you get into. There's also this speaker who actually said, in this age that we're in, unfortunately, and for the longest time, not just this age, honestly, for the longest time, marriage seems like heaven, and singlehood seems like what? Yeah, another deception. That's another deception. Marriage is not heaven, and singlehood is not hell. Larry, I continue. All right, back to you.
Kama mungekuwa kama mimi hapa mungekuwa mna hii ni loads. I'm learning on the job. As I said, unaona na ukifanya mimi sijui story. But anyway, I'm learning on the go, and that deception is very heavy. I remember one of our common person that I keep referring to him, Destiny. He kept saying, look for what you're looking. Don't look for something in someone, but look what you can do for them. I don't know if you remember. How do you say it? You remember? You say it again. I have lost my...
Yeah, I agree. It's exactly what you've said. And for me, here's the thing. If you're looking to get married, because I've seen majority of us, we have not been married before and we are not married yet, right? Yeah? So if you're looking to get married, Larry, and I am looking for this guy who will... or I use someone else. MC, if you're looking to get married... and let me use Larry. So Larry is looking to get married, or I am looking to get married, and what I am looking for, because the lie is that marriage will give me these things, is finances. I'm looking for someone who will pay my bills. I don't have to pay this rent by myself anymore. I'm looking for someone who will buy me that car. Yeah? So now, Larry, if I end up married to this man, who later I find out he was also looking for the same thing, someone to pay his bills and someone to finance his lifestyle. Yeah. So, question: should I be angry? No. Should I be angry? No. When I discover that, should I be angry? No. Michelle, should I be angry? What would be your reaction if you find out that this guy was also looking for a financier and you're married to them? Now, the thing is, why would you be angry? And that is what you're also looking for. Why? Why should you be the pot calling the kettle black? You were also looking for a financier. And you found someone who was also looking for a financier, and now you are... You will sort your finances. Financiers. Yeah? So that is, Larry, in support of what you're saying, yeah? If I want those things from a person, I need to be those things myself. Yeah? If I want someone I can trust, am I trustworthy? Yeah? If I want someone who will love me, am I loving? Yeah? So those things that we want in these other people, we need to be those things. Yeah.
Wow. Very sobering. Hey, Slay queens wameguzwa na slay kings wameguzwa pia. Yeah, but all the same, singlehood can be personal. Me, singlehood, I've been single for 2 years. Only. Now, the things I've learned from the benefits I've got from being single. Oi, musini mention kwa history baki hapa. Let me say, in your opinion yangu, ukikia kurusha mawe, I feel the impression of having someone. Okay, acha tu nianze na basics. Me si ati mimi ni deep Christian, but here's the thing, what I understand. Nimejaribu kusoma Genesis na nimeona kama una shamba already, not shamba in actual sense. I mean something that you're doing, something that you have a goal in, something that you love, something that is you're creating. Kwa sababu Adam alikuwa na role ya kushughulikia hiyo shamba nini, kushughulikia the animals and all that. So mimi na feel the first thing kwanza nafaa kuwa nafanya ni ku make sure hiyo shamba yangu at least huyo mtu mwenye anakuja juu wanasema helper. Kwanza we learned a very interesting lesson. I don't know if you remember the Ezra thing, how we don't connect ladies to godliness, and that Ezra word signifies a dependence on God. Unakumbuka hiyo part? Can you highlight it?
It was strength, right?
The strength of God.
Yeah.
The strength of God. So like hiyo sasa uwezi kuwa una strengtheniwa ama una helpiwa kwa kitu uja create, kwa kitu uja form. Kama if you can't build a house and not stay inside it. I don't know if that makes sense. Like the person who's coming anakuja kukusaidia anaitwa helper. So kufanya whatever because it signifies helper. I mean anafaa ku tumesema tusitafute no. But I think that's the line I'm thinking. Still kama you're seeing me. You're seeing what I'm seeing. That's what English.
I'm seeing you.
What is your opinion on that? Kwa sababu unajoneza kwa najiongelea na pia naongelea msee mwingine hapa hivi. Ako in the same mind frame, same perception. What would you tell them? Because I believe you're very passionate about living excellent. So yeah, take us through what you would advise. Yeah.
In terms of a helper.
In terms of the whole concept of what I have said about you preparing what, not necessarily shamba, kutoke kwa shamba. The whole concept of kujitayarisha, because this is someone you're bringing into your life. Atakuwa responsibility yako. No. So like the aspect of jenge shamba, create purpose so that person who's coming into your life is helping that purpose. Ama mnasaidiana. What did you say about that?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. So the MC, when she was introducing me, one of the things that she asked us is, like, she said it wasn't a question, like how many of us are single, and meaning that you are alone. And I like that word that you use there, alone, not lonely. There's a difference between alone and lonely. Yeah? So I can be alone, but I am not lonely. I can be married and and lonely. So I am married, I am not alone, but I'm lonely. And guys, by the way, I am pro-marriage, and I that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm in the season that I'm in, because I would want to end up in that space where I am married, yeah? So, back to being alone and lonely. So MC called it, she said alone, not lonely. So in this season of singleness, yeah, which we said is not hell, by the way, yes, I am that one that is complete. I am alone, but I am not lonely. So this season of singleness, and by the caveat, there are many reasons why we are single, right? So I am single because I've never been married. I don't have kids. Maybe the guys that have come into my life for one reason and another, it's never worked out, yeah? Someone else might be single because there was this relationship that they were in, if it's a marriage relationship, and things didn't work out, yeah? There's another person who is single because their spouse died. And I'm talking to both men and women, yeah? So there are many reasons why we are single. Whatever the reason is that we are single, this season for us is still relevant, whatever the reason why we are in this season, yeah? So Larry, when you talk about this season, what should I be doing with this season? You know, you've talked about that land that I should be tilling in this season, yeah? And the thing that comes to mind is, imagine yourself as a fundi, yeah? And I am a client, I've come to you as my fundi. Fundi wa mjengo, mason, mjengo, eh? So I've come to you and I want you to jenga this 5-story building for me, yeah? And then, of course, what will you tell me I need to start with? Foundation, right? And I'm like, apana, foundation, we masabana. Me, imagine, I want this house occupied in 2 months' time. Exactly. I want this house occupied in 2 months' time. Foundation, we don't have time. We don't have money for the foundation. Can you just start? Just wekelea the structure and we are done. I need tenants in that house by 2 months. What will you do? You'll do it without a foundation.
No, the masonry, mimi.
The masonry. You as the masonry.
I'll just do what she said.
You'll do as I say. And then? And when occupants come in and the house crumbles, wanguke nayo. Exactly. So already you can foretell. You will do it, yes, because I've insisted. But you can already foretell that this house will crumble and the damage. Yeah, Nyakeru, when she was talking about health, she told us the cost, yes, there's a cost. The difference is which cost, yeah? And even now, in this case, you will insist on building this house without a foundation. But the thing is, which cost are you willing to pay? Are you willing to pay the cost of the foundation? Or are you willing to pay the cost of the house crumbling and these litigations that will come with that because by their lives will be lost, So it's the same thing with this single season. Regardless of how we found ourselves in this season, the thing is, we need to build our foundation in this season. Yeah? Because in this season, when we are able to accept ourselves, when we are able to be secure with ourselves, when we are able to love ourselves, guess what? These are the very things that we will pour into our marriages, that we will pour into our children, that we will pour into our in-laws. If we don't cultivate these things, if we don't build this foundation in the single season, yeah, guess what? We are basically building that house on level land that we haven't timbered, we haven't done anything, and the house will crumble. So we'll get these babies, but I have these mother wounds that I never healed. So I'm shouting at these kids, I'm beating them right, left, and center, yeah? I am getting babies. I never dealt with my father wounds in this single season. I never dealt with the kind of marriage I saw my parents go through or my siblings go through. And now I have kids, and now I have in-laws, and now I have this husband. And I'm making him pay for those things that I never healed or, dealt with in the foundational phase. Yeah? So yes, Larry, I agree with you. this is the time to till our land, because the one complete person that we become, whether you're man or woman, that is the person that your children will experience. That is the person that your in-laws will experience. That is the person that your wife or your husband will experience. So if you insist to stay the same, it's okay. Right? Like MC has said, you jenga the house, Jenga, don't even timber the foundation. But now when the house crumbles, guess what? Again, the cost, it's your children who will experience your woundedness. Yeah? It's your in-laws, it's your spouse, your husband, your wife who will experience your woundedness. And we usually say this, yeah? No one is a bad person. What we have is untrained people. If I got married before I learned the things I have learned, I kid you not, it would have been terrible for both me, spouse, and children. Yeah, because I'm still a work in progress. But that doesn't mean I was a bad person then. It just meant I was untrained. Yeah, so no one, ladies and gentlemen, is a bad person. All we have is untrained people. So why not use this single season to get the training? Yeah? Back to you, Lai.
Singles bado mnapumua. Kanyaga shingo. Let me load, because nuggets for days. I'm hoping you guys are getting the impact. Singlehood yako si time tu ya mchezo. Ya mjengo.
Exactly.
Foreman jokes watu wangu. Oh, umeamkaje. But anyway, I get off tangent. What is it about living excellently, as you say? Because you said it many times. And as I said, words are like commands. They birth things. So what is it about that excellent living that you're really passionate about? Yeah, why you're passionate about it? Mbona tu nisikae na ni shughuli azinitafute mtu bila live excellently. Nikilive tu normal life, nini itani affect the boro high ama, you know? So yeah, just that.
Okay, so why live excellently, especially in this season? I've already mentioned bits of it, the why and how, you know, this season of our foundation, let me call it that, because when you're single, we are now working on that foundation, you know, filters into our relationships with the in-laws and the children and all of that. Aside from that, my gosh, like it's so terrible, which is something I was doing, that this is a season, there's something that you said, something in the dark is something in the light.
What we learn in the dark, we teach in light.
We teach in light, right? Yeah. So for me, this season felt very dark for me. And I'll tell my story later. And that made me, you know, in this season, my life was zile za woye me. Aki now I've been invited to another rotation, and even she's not pretty, like, and then kwanza that dude, my gosh, and then yeah, so hata ana do, yeah, so so of course I had that attitude about me, because there's this thing that I desperately longed for. So it would be very sad for us to do life in this season that way. Yeah? Because you don't know how long you will be single. And when I say single, I mean unmarried, please. Yeah, so if you have a boyfriend, if you have a girlfriend, you are not... yeah, let me not break relationships here. But please, when I talk about single, as long as you're not married, I am addressing you. Okay? Yeah? So, it would be very sad that in this season, you're not having fun. You're not even discovering, discover yourself. Like, what, unapenda hiyo ugali ya kisiagi or not? Like, so discover those things about yourself. Does apple cider work for you? Discover your spheres of influence. Like, living excellently is not you. Like, it's like in that single season, what at least I was doing, figuratively, I had worn my sackcloth and was like, God, when? Father, when? Like, it was a mourning season for me throughout. So will I mourn for 20 years? Please. Excuse me. And there's things to explore. There's life to be lived. So when I talk about living excellently, I want us to thrive in this season and to live wholesome lives. And just like that baby, I've said, no one is bad. We're just untrained people, right? So just like that baby who will be trained to walk, how do they start? Some will start by crawling. I've heard, there's a friend of mine, the kid just started walking like without crawling, but of course they staggered walked, yeah? So we can start off that way. We can stagger, we can crawl. Within no time you're able to make proper steps, walking slowly. Within no time you're sprinting, yeah? So I wish that for us in this journey, but like in terms of let's seek to thrive in this season instead of walking around with sackcloth. Yeah? And again, remember, regardless of how you found yourself in this single season, I'm still speaking to you. Yeah? Whether it's because you never got married, the relationship failed or whatever, even if you have a child, my gosh, you are still so worthy an amazing relationship. So imagine thrive right now. Enjoy. Yeah.
Interesting. Hiyo kitu umesema imenikumbusha. Forgotten that point. But ndio hiyo. Kuoga na kurudi soko. What's your opinion? What's your opinion? Kwa sababu it's so sad. Amekutoka. Ai, oga. So what's your opinion? Tell me what you think.
I know my opinion won't be the popular opinion, yeah? But for me, oga na ukae kwa hiyo bafu, like continue healing. Endelea kuoga. Like, yeah, like, please, let's stop using, because how fair would it be for you if someone was using you as a rebound? How fair would it be for you? Yeah?
Also, how realistic would it be? Nimeoga alafu nibaki tu kwa bafu.
No, so like there are parts you haven't seen. You haven't haujasugua mguu, haujasugua makwapa, kaa kwa hiyo bafu.
Can only take so long. Because even after organic, like you have to have some amount of growth. Also, even if you're being single, don't be stuck on just organic. Oga with an intention.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, it's a continuous. Yeah, the thing is, oga, it's not an event. Ogaing, like make it continuous, make it a process. Yeah, I do not advocate, and people please listen to me. I do not advocate for you to leave one relationship and get into another. Can you sit down and reflect? Why didn't that previous relationship not work? Why? Yeah? That should be, it's called School of Character Development. Can you take it seriously? Like, evaluate. Yeah? Why didn't it work out? And as you evaluate, please be objective. If it's hard for you to be objective, ask your friends. Ask your friends, why didn't this thing work out? Because I know in the mind it will be, dude started ghosting me. If it's the dudes, they'll start saying, the chick was too expensive to maintain. Yeah? Guys, are we together? Are we together? Yeah, so for me, I would say don't end one relationship and get into another. Do some self-evaluation. Ask the people around you. For example, I'll tell you, like one of the relationships I was in, for me when it ended, because I lived with my mom for a very long time, yeah, with my parents, actually, mom and dad. And I remember when the relationship ended, my mom was like, of course, it was going to end, duh. Like, kwanza that dude and like this and like that and like that, and you, what were you even thinking? And so she was able to give me objective feedback. Yeah, and I was able to see, okay, anyway, there's a way I showed up that I shouldn't have showed up. And yes, the dude had an issue, but even for me, yeah, because I would hate it, honestly, to get into a relationship with someone who is coming with their baggage. Don't waste my time. Don't, yeah? And I'm not getting into a relationship to waste someone's time, yeah? And that's why I'm saying, oga, and continue ogaing, yeah? Before you go back to that soko. And the ogaing process, that is a personal period for each one of us, I won't tell you 1 year, I won't tell you 2 months, I won't tell you 3 months. That is for you to decide when you're now ready to go back to the soko. And let's stop being, and I'm sorry for using this word, let's not be self-centered when we get into relationships. The same way I would want you to love me is the same way I want to get into this relationship and love you. Yeah? The same way I am worthy of love. When I get into that relationship, I'm getting into that relationship looking at you as someone who is worthy of love. Yeah, so when you look at that relationship that way, you'll even be intentional with how you are getting into those relationships. Yeah?
All right. Yeah, so we're back like we never left. So Ciku, we continue, no? Mambo ni nice. All right, so now, for the moment we've been waiting for. Drum rolls. Yo, it's about to get personal, Bana. Tell your neighbor it's a get bad.
It's getting real.
It's getting real.
It's getting hotter.
It's getting hotter. Settle. Breathe. Stories are Kanairo episode. Should we say? But yo, first, I want to settle this thing about age. Hey. Tell us, how old are you?
Don't ask women their age.
No. Who said? Ebu bust your bubble. Your bubble nataka ibustiwe. Vizuri.
I am okay with saying my age, Larry. So yes, I am 35 years old. I was doing the math. Yeah, so I'm 35 years old.
35 years old.
Yeah, 35th.
Yeah. So interesting. The swali najua wanaume watauliza 35 single, why? Kwani what's up? What's not adding? What's not minusing? Yeah. Mwalimu wa maths alifanya nini? Yeah, tell us, man. Get there. Get to the meat. Yeah.
Okay. Now here's the thing, and Larry, I like that you asked that question because it's a very common question. Ciku, why are you still single? Wajiko, that is how I'm called back at home. And for the sake of this recording, I will not mention names of people who ask me those questions. Auntie. Anyway, so they know themselves. Anyway, so I hear that question a lot. And Larry, my question to you would be, why should I not be single?
Why would the girl?
Tell us, Larry.
Yeah, kasongo.
Yeah, why should I not be single? Yeah? Because I get asked these questions a lot, and I'm sure nowadays it's not just women, even men. I have my pals who they tell me, like male friends who tell me they avoid going home because of those questions. Hey, why are you not married? Na uko na kazi mzuri, na hii gari, na nyumba o sijui na nini. 2 bedroom na unaishi peke yako kwa nini?
Haya.
Yeah. So my question would be, why should I not be single? Yeah. So there's this notion, unfortunately, and this narrative that society pushes that we need not be single. Why? And that takes me back to what I was saying. Marriage is not heaven, and singlehood is not hell. Yeah. So now that we know what we should do with this season of our lives, me, the next time a person is asking me why I'm single, my question to them is, why should I not be? Yeah.
Interesting. We, your full stop ni mzito ama ni koma? Shall be continued. Sasa mimi nataka kujua Nairobi Chronicles imekupeleka aje. Mimi kwa hiyo highway ya mafunzo. Nimekuwa teacher na nimekuwa the taught. Yes. And it's a tough one. Na pia, in your earlier conversation, uli highlight hapo pali si point wanaume lakini mnajijua. Unajijua wewe. Where you, and I'm not saying I'm better. I'm not better. I'm a work in progress. There's that thing you said ati ume waste time ya mse. And for me, if there's anything that is important, is time. Time wasted, it can never be. You cannot take back time. Ikienda imeshaenda. And the saddest thing ni utaulizwa. That's the part that inaniweka hiyo. Yeah, but anyway. I get off tangent, but I really wanted to highlight that I felt that so like if you're that person, what would you advise that person who seme mtama ishamwagika, ushafanya kile umefanya, na maybe ujaona haija make sense ama ujaona kile ulikuwa unataka kuona ama una feel tu hauko ready for you know what I'm saying. Hiyo ndio Chronicles of Nairobi. Unafikiria uko ready, then ukifika hapo butwa. Buddha is knocking at your door, you know? Yeah, so that's able highlight that. What are your thoughts kwanza? Zinajua vijana wa Nairobi. Hey, anyway.
Aya. So you think you are ready, but when you get into a relationship,
Butwa. Butwa shows up. And it's not butwa yani kwa ubaya.
Yeah.
And it's not butwa, shock on me. You know, it's I don't know how to explain.
But
pia kujistaki sana. But you feel you're ready. Then when you're inside it, you feel you're not ready.
Yeah.
And it's not you're not ready fully. Ciku explain.
I get what
Uko
you're
ready
saying.
to get into the relationship ndio, but you're not equipped. Unafeel uko ready. Seme kama finances unaona what you're doing, because you'll be responsible for someone. You'll be responsible for someone. So you feel, I'm not equipped. Yeah. So you revert because now you're like, let me take a back end.
Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying, So here's the thing, Just because I said we continue ogaying, it doesn't mean that you'll get into the relationships when you are perfect. That is a lie. That's another deception. You will never be perfect for a relationship. We will always be a work in progress. So if you get into a relationship and then you realize, hold up, there are certain triggers. Let's say if it's the finances, you realize, when you start conversations on finances, there's a way these conversations go that trigger me. Yeah? Or when you start conversations around parenting, until we get kids, you're like, this one. See, we just have fun and whatever. Yeah? So for me, I would say it does not mean that you're not ready for that relationship, like you said. You are okay with that relationship, but you realize certain things in that relationship make you question, oh my gosh, was I really ready for this? For me, I would say it's not that you're not ready for that relationship. Ask yourself why these things are triggering you. Yeah? So if it's conversations around kids that for you are a trigger, yeah, because if you're dating to marry, I don't get why you would not have conversations around children. Does your person want children? Do you want children? How many children do you want? Yeah? That's an example of a conversation. So when kids come into the conversation and you're like, by the way, do we really need to talk about that? We don't need to get that serious. Yeah. So when you notice you being triggered by certain things, ask yourself why. Yeah. So what is it about children? What is it about your childhood space that maybe needs healing? For me, for the longest time, which I'm still healing from, for me, children were not safe. Because I experienced, and I won't get into the details, but there are past experiences for me that made me feel children are not safe. So for me, now when we start talking about children, I'm like, brah, why are you making this thing serious? Him say we have fun and enjoy and whatever, like babies. We can visit your brother's kids and we'll visit my sister's kids and we make a legacy together, me and you. Yeah, so that for me is how I would come into that relationship. But it's because my past, there was insecurity around children's welfare, without getting into the details of what happened. But yeah, so it doesn't mean that I was not ready for that relationship or I'm not ready for that relationship. It's because, okay, so I'm still raw in that childhood space. So is my partner, is my person willing to be patient with me as I grow in this space? Yeah, because that's the beauty of relationships. When you're by yourself, you think you're okay. Then when someone comes into the picture, that's when you realize, guy, Bede kumbe, I hate sharing my food. Please nod if you're one of those people, yeah? So you realize, guy, kumbe, I hate sharing my food. But you didn't know that when you were by yourself. Yeah.
Na vile kwa dates, mnasemanga, let me test yours. Interesting.
Yeah.
But mi unajua umeongelea the past. Mi nataka kusikia Nairobi Diaries. What's the experience for you? Cause what's your experience in the dating scene? Is that a wise question? Ama nimeenda sana. Nimsamee ama nimwache?
Skip. Pass. Anyway. So, and that's why I'm doing this. My target is that ambitious trailblazer, because I am that person. So if you're that woman or man that is an ambitious trailblazer and you feel you figured out these other spaces, but in this single nest space, low-key or out there, like you're very vocal about it, or low-key, like within yourself, you're like, this space, I haven't figured it out. That's why I'm here and that's why I'm doing this. Yeah. So I have lived this life of singleness, like I said, and I have many, many stories, but let me give you an example. Just one story comes to mind. Oh my gosh, why? Larry, do I need to answer this question?
Please.
Anyway, So one of the stories that I have, so like I said, I am that person that I am seeing in each one of you, that ambitious trailblazer. So when I finished Campo, thankfully, thank you God, I got a job in one of those known organizations. So I was doing well. School, paperwork done. So honestly, I was doing well, but there was this relationship space that I was struggling in. And like I said, it came with this desperation. So I told you guys, that's when, right after Campo, I don't know if us guys are in that space or we've been at that space. That's when you're being invited for a rurashio every weekend. You're being invited for another wedding because that's my peers, that is what they were now doing right after Campo, yeah? So, of course, there was this desperation and neediness that came with that. So, work, family, finances, they're okay. But this relationship space, I was struggling, and there was a lot of desperation in that. So, anyway, long story short, I met up with this person. And this person decided to take me out. And this person, by the way, he was married. Yeah, he was married. I knew he was married. Yeah, see, we say this is a safe space, right?
But don't judge.
We listen, but we don't judge, yeah? So, yeah, I knew he was married. But I was like, okay, he's showing interest, so why not, yeah? So this one time, we had been seeing each other for some time. By then, I was working. I would hop between Nairobi and my location of work. So every weekend, I'd come around and to Nairobi. So anyway, this one time, we meet up, and he told me where he was, so I was going to join him where he was. And of course, that time there's money, and now back then, okay, we used kwenda out and dunda. Yeah, I don't know how it's called nowadays, but that was life for me then. So sinmeitwa dunda, and he told me where I should go. So I called my best friend. I'm like, hey, let's go. We go out with this guy of mine. Anyway, so I remember where we went, and my gosh, kwanza that place, we ingiad, it was a room, ile mnafunguliwa ka room, mnaingia and then it's locked. That is where I went. Yeah. And then ni mali tumeka benches tunangaliana, like this side and this side tumeangaliana, and then the person selling to us booze ako nyuma ya mesh. And yes, that was the first time. Yani it was local extreme, ile local. Yani, and the reason hata ilikuwa inafungwa, it's cause if karaos came, tungelala ndani. Remember, I'm still the ambitious trailblazer chick. So I'm there in that room, and the person selling booze is behind a mesh, and I remember just looking around, and I'm just seeing guys. I remember seeing one of the women, which was so sad for me. She has torn sweaters, like a torn outfit, because, these are addicts, and Ciku baya, but this was the law. Like, this is where they get their stuff, yeah? And I'm there with them because I'm with this married man. And I remember for the first time, Larry, I never knew, I thought Allsops was a location. Kumbe, there's a drink called Allsops, FYI, if you didn't know.
Hidden gems.
If you didn't know, kuna pombe inaitwa Allsops. So Allsops, I'm like, I thought it was a location. Kumbe, there's even a drink. Yeah. So, and then, worst of all, time ya kwenda toilet, we were going to some abandoned building in the dark. That is where my level of desperation had gotten me to. Following a married man to such a location. And it was so unsafe. Thank God I invited my best friend. So by the time we got to leave, because the guy is so high, he doesn't even want me to leave. me and my friend. So it's my friend who had to call the brother, and the brother had to come pick us up. And the bro came and he's like, you guys, and me I drink lakini you guys, how? Like, apa, for real. Yeah, so it was that bad. And it took her brother to come and get us out of that place. And I remember just sitting there. Na says obede lari, apo si seats, apo ni bench, msay. Like, we're seated on benches. So I remember when we got out of there, and you know when it rains it pours, so I fika home, ata gate isto imefungwa, so niko hapo nimepanda gate ya isto nairuka so that I can get into the house. Like, you see how, like, imagine. And in the Monday morning when you see me in the office, you're like, hey, madam, respect. But weekend, that is where my desperation had taken me. Place watu wanakunywa all sops. Tukienda lu places zingine hapo hata sitaki kutaja, yeah? So that is one of my stories. There are many other stories. So it goes to show how when we don't leave this sinkhole, and I choose to call it that single, but sinkhole, like there's the hole in that sinkhole. So when you don't leave that version of singleness, some of the desperate moves will pull. Because honestly, I don't judge when I see someone do certain things, because I've been there, done that. Yeah. So that's one of my stories.
Well, silence in the room. Well, but it is well. What's my story? Ay, mumeuliza. Oh my Jesus. Muporedi. Yangu na iko all sops.
Yako ilikuwa gani?
Hey, mimi nilionyesha kivumbi. Simp of the city. Hiyo tutafanya on the next podcast. For now, acha niwaambie yene iko politically correct. Pali mimi ndio nimetendewa. Hapo kwa kutendeana. Let's just say that's I think personally that's the reason why I'm single. Kwa sababu pia kuna hiyo discomfort ya arise alafu kufanya kitu isi happen. My things I do them wholeheartedly. I go all in. Hakunanga ati ukiona nimekuwa misaligned, kuna kitu inanichokoza na inanisumbua. So I think about it. I take a step back and I reflect. But anyway, najua nilikuwa na dodge story, but here's the thing. I dated a lady. She had a child, and we dated for so long. I think a year. Sasa long ni long, wewe tu ni refu. Two years, bana. For me that was long. It was the longest I've ever dated. 2 years for me is very long. What? You're a millennial. So anyway, since me I do my things wholeheartedly, inside out. Yani niko ndani. So this kid, I got a kid when she was about 4 years. 4 months old. So nili change diapers. Nilinunua Weetabix, nilitembeza mtoto, nilifunza mtoto kutembea. Yani
next season
Ini nimefanya mzuri, so na at least naweka books zikwe safi. So anyway, we'll take care of the child and all that. I think there's nothing I couldn't do for that kid. Na akwa wangu. You know, I went all in, fully, totally in. And then, Baba Yao! Baba Yao akarudi. It's not confirmed, lakini mimi ukiniuliza, nilipiga analysis yangu nikaona kuna pampers inaweza kununua kwa hii nyumba. Na hiyo skari. Generosity ilikuwa excess. Shopping bana nilikuwa wameni overthrow na vile mimi nafanya shopping murwa. Hii shopping iko extra. Iko na another level. So anyway, for me, the breakup, the pain was not at the mother alone, ama the lady. Well, the diapers. But anyway, the connection between me and the child was very heavy. In fact, mtoi sijui pali yuko kama hapo sawa, I don't know nini, but niliona mtoi nikipotea alikuwa, I could see stress. You know, we think we're the only adults who get stress. I think mtoi vile nilikuwa namchunguza alikuwa naji isolate. But anyway, all the same, nilikana yetu paka kwa 2 years and all. Then obviously Saile ilienda Asongo. Yeah, so anyway, when it ended, the pain was a tragedy. So ilinifanya nikue who I am today. But anyway, all said and done, I learned what I had to learn. And I apply it every day. At least nikue thoughtful na nisiarise kitu yene na feel na struggle na. That's why nikiona any struggle I tend to take a back seat, evaluate. If it's off, it's off. If it's right, it's right. Okay, I know the feeling it's not very wise to lead on someone, but here's the thing, okay, hiyo jina inanishindanga. Interrogate your situation uone tu haimake. Iko na gaps. Obviously pray. Kwa sababu pia effect, the thing about these situations, effect si wewe peke yako. Effect ni generations, my friend. And that's very sobering. That unajua generation fulani itakuwa affected juu ulipita na mse. Ama juu ulibreak hati ya mse na akikuona tu hivi. Shida, you know, you've caused an effect for the next person who will come and the next person and the next person. So that's my story. Ibaki hapa. Hii hata siweki kwa channel. But anyway, so that's the thought around it. That's the thought around it. Mwanaume kweni watu wazuri. Child pia.
Wazuri kabisa.
Yo, story for another day. Yeah, so I don't know if there's something you've left out. Uko na kitu unataka kuongeza kwa Matrix?
This a call out if any one of you, like I said, is that ambitious trailblazer who would like to figure out that singlehood space. And please note, I said, if you are not married, you might be dating, but dating for me is not marriage, okay? I'm sorry, but it's not, yeah? So, have you started those classes? Prima classes. Have you started prima classes? Then you're not married.
Hatuendi peke yangu, tunaenda wote. Community project.
So, if you're not in prima classes, then please, still. Anyway, so if you're that ambitious trailblazer and you're trying to figure out that space, how I am seeing myself is I am that guide. You know that tour guide, eh? When you go out, nowadays domestic tourism is really big, eh? So I'm hoping at least we've gone either to a park or those places that we go to, yeah? So what happens? The tour guide doesn't drop you guys at the gate and tell you guys, you guys go, right? What they do is they engage with you in the gate. They take you around because they know if we use this route, we are going to find lions. If we use this other route, we are going to see giraffes. If we use that route, we are going to find elephants. And sometimes along the way, they're like, I've been radioed, on the radio, I've been told there's a giraffe on this route. I've never used it before, but let's go together, yeah? So that's how I'm seeing myself, yeah? I am that person that I am seeking to help, yeah? So I am also that ambitious trailblazer who will walk with you in that path. We will drive through that path and go see where the lions are. I will also discover with you where the elephants are. We've been told that is where the elephants are. I've not used that trail before, but let's go together, yeah? Like Nakeru said, been there, done that. I'm still figuring things out. I'm still a work in progress, okay? So I'm not presenting myself as perfect, but the lessons I have learned, the tools that have helped me, honestly, right now, oh my God, Yani, if I find a friend who is about to go into that club I was telling you about, I will grab them like with everything. Like, don't do that. You are worth so much more. Like, see the value that you are. See the value that you are. Yeah? And you can see your value at work, but there's a certain way you show up in relationships. So I want each one of you to see the value that you are. So anyway, if you're that kind of person and you would want that tour guide in your life, that's why I'm here. So, Larry, I don't know whether I need to say my numbers now because that's the only way you can reach out to me. Yeah. Socials, I've been inactive for a while, but I will need to come back because that is how I will get my people. Yeah. So, if you need to reach out, you can reach out to me on 0725 00 8451. 0725 00 8451. Yeah, so you can send me a text. I'm always ready to call. Not always ready, but I will call back. Or if you'd like us to have a conversation, you can call me and then we can agree on what time I'm available, yeah? Then we have that conversation. If you have someone in mind, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's a sibling, maybe it's an uncle and auntie, because it's both men and women. What I've learned is tools, let's say, like what? One of the tools that I'm using is imagine how I budget my finances actually influences how I'm living as a whole single, yeah? So budgeting is not just effective for women. It's also applicable for men, yeah?
True.
Yeah, so whether that person is male or female, please feel free to reach out. So that's my parting shot.
Na ujapatiana sasa hiyo namba ukipatiana na waanze kufanya ile.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, please. One rule. So
hatutaki kesi ya Kasongo.
futa your emoji. So how I do this, how I'll be doing this, it will be a coaching program. It will have other elements within the coaching program, which if you need the details, again, feel free to reach out to me. But there'll be other elements. Of course, I've said, singles, by the way, we are not here to do boring lives, right? So there are things that will be exciting, activities that we'll get to do together with other singles, like-minded, yeah? Anyways, so that being said, 2 rules, and Larry, thank you for reminding me, because it's always good to know the rules of engagement before you sign up for anything, right? So, number one, you cannot date each other in my program until you're done with the program. If you so wish, wait until you're done with the program and you can date. If you choose to date before the program ends, unfortunately, I will need to release the both of you. Yeah? Yes. And yeah, I will need to release the both of you. Okay? That is for the good of the both of you. Yeah. So no dating in my program. And then no dating each other. If you have someone out there, like I've said, as long as you're dating, you're not married. So feel free to come into my program. But dating within the program, that is prohibited. And then number two, you cannot date the coach. So the coach needs to be... And the coach is not Larry, so you can guess who the coach here is not Larry, so you can know who the coach is. Yeah. Yes, Isaac.
How long is the program? Correct.
Yeah, so it will be a 12-week program. But like I said, please feel free to get in touch with me. Why 12 weeks? Because by the time the program is done, I desire for you to have achieved a lifestyle change. So I don't want to just talk, but you're not implementing. Nyakeru said something about knowledge. It just remains here if you're not living it out. So I want you guys, whoever it is that will show up, to implement the lessons that you're learning. Yeah, so it will be a 12-week program.
We'll do a video purely on that, discussing that at length, and then there will be an open day. Before questions, there will be an open day where we will come through together. So no.
Yes, please.
And there will be an open day. We'll discuss all these things that we're talking about. And what's the name of the program again?
Singlewhole.
So on our sites, we will push what it is about. We'll get to the nitty-gritties. We have less time, and yeah. So that's what we'll do later. So no.
Yes, please.
Coming next year, so be tuned. Social media sites, take out podcast, yako ni gani?
Not yet. I'll set it up.
So Take Out Podcast will push what Nyakero has said and Shiko Emma said. So with that said, let's go to questions. Let's go to questions. You can ask.
One more question. Are there charges? And if there are there maybe like for the people who are here in this particular session, is there some incentive for them like to join, whatever the case?
Yes, so will there be charges? Yes, there will be charges. The cost, for now, because I don't want to give an immature cost, but whoever needs to have that discussion with me, let them call me, but yes, there will be cost for the program. Ulikuwa umeinua mkono. Si ulikuwa umeinua mkono. Let me look at the MC. Let me look at the MC then. Yeah, so yes, the details of the costing, whoever calls me, I'll give them more details on that, and I'll also give them details on the other activities that we get to do. So now that you've asked that question, Isaac, so when I talked about no dating in the program, now one of the things that you'll need to forgo is the cost that you paid. So you will be expelled from the program and the cost is non-refundable. Yeah. Again, I'm doing this for your own sake. In the moment, yes, Isaac can look very handsome and you're like, I really, what? If I don't take, yeah. But it blurs the objectivity. So the next couple of weeks, honestly, you're not doing yourself justice. And why? Why would I allow you to go back to the same old vomit? There's this verse in the Bible that talks about vomit. Why would I allow you and watch you do that? Like, watch the both of you swimming in that vomit all over again. And that is the exact thing that brought you into that space, yeah? So because I love you like love you, you know what I mean? I won't allow you to do that to yourself.
Unasikia? Umerecord? That is why I'm recording. Yeah, so anyway, every good thing must come to an end. Oh, machos. But we've come to the end of today's program. Thank you so much for showing up. Hey, where? I don't know if we prepared all this and then turudi na hiyo chakula kwa nyumba. Na chakula si the word alone. I mean the food alone. Mursik peke yake hapana. Food yene tume take time to prepare, guys. Hey, if any of you knows, I started speaking about this project last year. Deck nimeimba. Kasongo. Guys, I have been singing this thing. It's done, yani, all glory to God. Yani, pia wewe unaweza fanya the same thing. Vile ilikuwa tunasema hiyo Genesis 1:28. Multiply, subdue. Unaona hizo vitu zote ukitumia hiyo verse kwa life yako, basically tu utaleta fruit yenye utakuwa unexpect. As I said earlier, fruit. Na ina apply everywhere. In relationships, in food and all these things. Yeah, so occupy your sphere of influence. From my heart, manze na shukuru for making time. Ukata hizo dates zenye mlikuwa mmeitwa. Wengine walikuwa busy. You know, others. Wengine walikuwa preach gospel. Yani, thank you for taking your time, your effort, your resources to come here, to listen to us, to take your time, kusikia from beginning to end. I don't know how to thank you. Thank you so much. This is a dream come true.